Yasu Malagedo. Game 7. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. 1967. Part 9.
These are the best, better than all the rest. From the East Coast to the West, these are the
Ladies and gentlemen, are we surprised? I mean, really, are we that surprised? We know what happens in Game 7. It's no surprise. It should not be a surprise. We were going to play at home. We won the last game, but it's Game 7. It's 7. They say 7, the actual number, 3 plus 4, ironically, equals 7. They say it's a lucky number, but is it? I mean, not for us, not for... No, Game 7, it's over. When the Leafs have to play a Game 7, as soon as they wake up, it's over. It doesn't matter if they're away, close to the CN Tower. It's a long weekend. It's going to be a way longer weekend if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. But again, if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf, and let's just say you got drafted in 2016. When you face a Game 7, it's over. It's over. Okay? Plain and simple. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do something different today. There's still one more period to go. It's 3-0. It was almost 4-0, which, and I'm sure would have made a huge difference. But I'm going to watch the last period because this is by far the last period of hockey I will watch. Watching the Leafs, obviously, till at least September, October. If I want to prolong it a little bit more, just like we, do every season and playoff, and it feels like, I'd say it feels like torture, but like eventually torture ends. Like when someone tortures you, you just, you tend to, it tends to go away because you go on to the next life, or maybe purgatory, or the Leafs have been in fucking purgatory since holy shit. The point is, it eventually ends, but this is just going to keep going. So I might as well keep this shit going. So I'm going to watch the third period. I'm going to watch it live, have a good time here, and why not? Why not? Let's just, and as we're watching this, we're going to, see where the Leafs fucked up over the season. Does that sound good? All right. So I'm going to pause it for a bit. We're still in intermission here. I'm going to take a piss. As you can see, people have already started shooting You can't see anything. It's a fucking audio podcast. I'm not recording shit here. Fuck. We all know how the Leafs are doing. Maybe you can hear it outside. I don't know. I mean, the way Toronto is lately, it could be gunshots. But the point is, listen, they just showed the crowd, like, nobody's excited there. You can't blame them. We're just a glutton for punishment. You know what I mean? It's just, this is something that will just never end. I was thinking about this the other day, and, you know, the PC culture has absolutely killed comedy. Okay, you know, I mean, the last few really funny movies we had, Hangover, Bridesmaids, Tropic Thunder, you know, around the late thousands, early tens, whatever. But the Leafs will always give us a good laugh. I mean, it'll just never end, you know. And you know, you know, despite all the fucked up things that happened in Florida, it doesn't even come close. I mean, like, at least they have somehow like a winning hockey team, you know. And years ago, like, you thought to yourself, okay, like, how does I mean, Florida's not going to have a market for hockey. I mean, I mean, they got lizards, you know, falling out of the fucking trees there, and alligators eating other alligators or crocodiles. I don't know. I forgot which ones are on, you know, the sand or whatever. But the point is, you know, we should be used to this as Leaf fans, but we never will. You know, but worst case scenario, we will always be used to the great laughs that the Toronto Maple Leafs bring. So, again, I'm just gonna take a piss, wait for you know, the last 20 minutes of torture here, and, you know, we're just gonna see what went wrong here. Okay, let's really dissect this. You know, you know, we're gonna say our final farewells to Marner. You know. Matthews, you know, if Phoenix still had a team, you know, yeah, he would have been gone, you know, a little while ago. But, you know, let's just see what happens. Why not? Fuck else we got to do, right? I mean, you know, yeah, we're going to laugh our asses off like Tom Hanks did. But, yeah, so I'll see you soon.
He hasn't put the blender, but he has highlighted the hard work. We've had the best chances, they've had the most energy, and, you know, he's just asking them, give us something, give us some energy early on.
We've been saying, give us something since 1967. Now, I've probably talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. I could have easily just named this podcast, the series of this podcast, the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I really wanted for it to stand out. Hence 1967. We all know what happened in 1967. That was the last time that the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup. And ever since then, we've had some chances. 93, we all know what happened. You know, high stick, Gretzky. We know what happened. Other than that, it's been shit. The fireworks just keep going off in Toronto. Once again, long weekend. It's a Sunday night. You know, the Toronto Maple Leafs decide to lose Game 7 on the Lord's Day. It doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. It really doesn't. Like, at this point, you know, if you wasted money on a ticket, you know, it's you're just stupid. I'm sorry. If you're standing in front of the big screen there, you know, on the street there, you know, at the I like to call it an arena, but you know, some people like to, you know, win stuff, you know, at an arena. You're just stupid. It's, again, I'm not dissing, you know, people that are from Toronto. I love this city still. It is going to shit, though. It's not just because of the Leafs. It's you know, well, I'm sure that doesn't help, but it's not good. Let's just say that. You know, like, a lot of times you'll be walking the streets. You know, you'll You'll probably see less needles, at a doctor's office. But it's what can I tell you? It's slowly morphing into San Francisco. Except we have less hills. But it's just. Again, we should not be shocked by this. I'm watching this right now. It's what we got, 18:30 left. Holy shit! I can't believe we actually scored.
Opportunity to get at it.
Goal, seventh time of the goal, his second of the series, his third of the playoffs.
Okay. So this is where who likes to fuck with us. Okay, so Domi scored. Third of the playoffs. Okay, so again, Leaf fans are they pay. I believe each Leaf ticket is $10,000. So you better time your pisses. But listen, there's still lots of game left. Okay, it's 17:37 left. Somebody's throwing something on the ice, getting picked up courtesy of Canadian Tire. Remember when they used to give out like money and shit? I don't know what happened. That was cool. I miss those days. But the point is, I miss the days where I didn't care so much about the Leafs. But the point is, there's still a chance. Is there though? I mean, is there still? I mean, again, I'm watching the game. It's, I don't know. I don't like. This is where what's it called? Life tends to fuck with you, especially when you're a Leaf fan. So, it's very possible that the Leafs could come back here.
With that simple dump in, and this is getting in on a full check. Marchand feels the pressure, throws it across crease. Hector Larson gets thrown up there by the Risterainen, and then Marchand throw it to the net, and this is one that Joseph Ball's got to have. It's a tip from a bad angle, sneaks by the blocker against the post, and you can see by the reaction of Wall. Got fooled, wasn't tight, wasn't ready for it, and the Risterainen is just quieting this crowd.
He had a goal in game one and now has his third of the playoffs. And it comes 47 seconds after the Leafs had got on the board.
47 seconds. Let's see, 4 plus 7 is 11. 7, 11. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what I'm saying makes no sense, but that's what happens when you're a Leaf fan. Like, you're pretty much fucking out of it. So as I was saying that, Florida just scored again. So, yeah, there's, Big Nose got the assist. Oh, good for him. But, yeah, so, Well, listen. Is there still a chance? Yeah, sure. Listen. Listen. Let me. I'll just say this. They're showing career playoff points versus the Toronto Maple Leafs of all time. Pinocchio has 36. Wow. Okay. Gordie Howe has 53. Okay, but Gordie Howe is one of the best players of all time. Brad, dipshit, marching all over the Leafs. I just recently found out he's actually from Halifax. I thought all this time, maybe he was an American. I don't know. I don't. Marchand, I guess French. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's okay. Well, I'm assuming that's French. But I guess it proves that not all French people give up. I'm kidding. I'm just a bitter Toronto Maple Leaf fan, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta let me have a few of them, huh? Fuck it. But this is a great game. How much is left? 15:43. Holy fuck. Wow.
Working loose does Bobby. Working Riley. Back in front. Two-hander backhand denied. Off the glass. Back inside the leaf line.
I thought Nylander held that just a little bit too long, allowed a little bit of a recovery there from Nylander.
Nylander without a point in his last three after dump.
Well, they're mentioning Nylander here. Let me say this about Nylander. I don't know. Like, to me, he's had some great chances in the playoffs. I mean, I think he's done pretty decent. You know, I would assume that the Leafs would hold on to him. You know, they got, you know, can't say the same for other players. You know, ones that begin with M. You know, but again, you just I don't know. You know, like we say that every year. You know, but we've had a lot of these players for close to 10 years. You know, 9-10 years. Yeah, so is it time for a change? Maybe. You know, are we going to get one? Probably not.
Tavares arrives on the scene, but it's played past McKee, but back into Leaf ice.
You know, the sad part is, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell, like, again, being a Leaf fan all these years, like, you can tell in the first 5-10 minutes how the Leafs are going to do. I mean, realistically, if we don't score in that first period, if we don't get the first goal of the game, like if it's still 0-0, it's over. It's just something about, you can just smell it in the air. You know, it's fireworks. It's just, you know, at least somebody's celebrating. But yeah, you can just smell it. And like, you know, the games that we've lost, you know, game 7, game 5, it's, my God, you can just tell. I mean, I don't know. Like, did they go drinking the night before? Did they not try as hard in practice? I'm just, you know what? Here's a theory. You know, realistically, yeah, this is Marner's last game. You know, what he got over 100 points this year, right? Okay, well, I don't know. People tend to forget that. Let's be honest. But you know, yeah. Yeah, he's gone. Matthews, who knows? You know, I don't know. I do a little thing called a Malaka Minute where I rant about something for a minute. I believe one of my first ones, if not my first one, was, you know, when Matthews got the C. Who cares anymore? I'm not even drinking. That's the thing. I just, I don't know. It's, what's the point, right? You know, we all know what's going to happen. But I don't think Matthews should have been the captain. I mean, especially with Tavares still on the team. I think it's a huge slap in the face. I think they took advantage of Johnny T's, you know, niceness and generosity, you know. I like is Matthews a leader? Okay, like Berube said, okay, he does, you know, lots of other things for us than score. Listen, sometimes when you get like a shit ton of money every year, that's pretty much all we expect. I mean, like, we don't expect you to, you know, donate to your favorite charity when you're not on the ice. You know, just, I don't know if he fucking does that. Who knows? I don't know. And every fucking store you go to, I don't know, you want to donate $1 to, you know, somewhere you don't know, then fuck off. But the point is, not with tariffs, but the point is, you know, yeah, I expect him to just get goals. I mean, I would be very happy if he just got goals. He got the one goal in Game 6, and of course, it was nothing but a tease. You know, as you can clearly see in this game here. Is there any good commercials on, or no? Okay. No. Okay. Well, no, it's the. All right. But, you know, I don't know. I don't think he should be the captain. I've never seen leadership qualities in Matthews. I'm sure he's a nice guy. And oh, look what they're showing. 2013 when 2018 when we lost against Boston again. Oh boy. 2019. Oh boy. Let's beautiful smacks in the face, huh? 2024. Oh, there's Schnozzola himself. Okay, there we go. Thank you for that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, CBC. Yeah, always. You guys always know how to treat people, right? Ask Don Cherry. The point is, it's this guy, Mr. can fuck a woman with his face. Okay, the Leafs are cursed. We all know that by now. I think it's pretty obvious. But I mean, this guy just kills us every fucking time. I mean, it's just like, I said before, like, you wake up and the Leafs know it's game 7, they're just going to lose. Like, he must wake up with the biggest smile. I mean, it just, from ear to ear. Just, he knows, he's like, okay, well, who cares? We lost game 6. Who gives a shit? Game 7, guys. We got this. He's probably in the locker room saying, listen, I've been through this multiple times before with this team. Okay? We could literally go out there, hop on one foot, one hand tied behind our backs. My nose can trip anybody on the ice, but it doesn't matter. The point is, we're going to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're going to win regardless. And that's it. To have that, kind of confidence, like when you're made of wood, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's just a beautiful work of art. Somewhere Geppetto is really proud. Still 12 minutes, huh? Holy fuck. Wow. I mean, once again, I guess I should talk about this. We did beat Ottawa, more games than we should have. But then again, teams like Ottawa, Buffalo always have our number. It doesn't matter. Okay, but in a series, yeah, we should get them, and we did. Whoopie fucking do. But yeah, then Florida again. We all know what happened a few years ago. So what's changed with this team? Like, what's not much. Knives, Domi, a few different goalies. But the thing that like 2-0, two games to nothing, and then like we all know, like listen, the Leafs get comfortable in a game, we get comfortable in the series, Montreal knows what happens when we get comfortable in the series, right? So yeah, it's Well, win leading after a second period, 26 straight playoff wins for the Florida Panthers. Wow. Okay. Once again, these statistics, guys, are just beautiful. Thank you so much, for listen, we know what's going to happen at the end of this game. We know. But, for you to rub it in again, holy shit, they just scored again.
And Reinhardt. And it's a 4-goal lead with just over 10 minutes to go.
And this is about assignments, right? You face off. Everybody's got a plan. Everybody knows their responsibility.
First of all, like at this point, not everybody has a plan. Okay, if you're wearing a blue jersey on the ice, you clearly don't have a plan. Second, I had to look this up because I remember growing up. I thought to myself, like, what was the worst game that the Toronto Maple Leafs ever played? Look at the people leaving. Look at they paid, probably, yeah. I was exaggerating, $10,000, but still, like, wow. All the Matthews jerseys are leaving. Okay, that's okay. That could be some irony in the future. Anyways, Yeah, so the worst game that the Leafs ever played, I believe it was in '91, and it was versus Pittsburgh. And I remember this as a kid. And again, the '80s weren't the best for the Leafs. Not that like fucking today is, but we lost. I think in Pittsburgh against Pittsburgh. Yeah, duh. Uh, excuse my smarts. I'm a Leaf fan, but anyways, we lost 12-1. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 12-1. In a hockey game is just absurd. And I remember going to my dad, like, am I really watching this? Like even as a kid, I was 9 at the time, probably 9, 10, whatever. No, I was 9 or maybe 8, 9, whatever. It doesn't. 10, 9, 8, 7. Haha, there you go. But yeah, I was like, could this be actually happening? This is crazy, And I believe my dad was crying, but no, probably not. I don't know. I like to think not. But the point is, it is 12-1. Now again, we watched Game 6, and I like to go back to that torture for a bit, and that was just a horrible game. That might be. See, I was thinking to myself, like, that's one of the worst Leaf games, period, I've ever seen. Like, probably the worst playoff game I've ever seen, for sure. And I've seen some shitty playoff games. Of course, I'm not counting the one where a few years ago where we had a very good lead against a team. What's it called? I forgot. It begins with a B. And we blew what a 4-1 lead in 5 minutes. So. Now, okay, so this is funny. Now, again, it's not the funniest commercial. It's not the worst commercial. Being a Leaf fan, they know they have to advertise Tylenol, for headaches. I mean, that's pretty funny. But, yeah, this is just, wow. This is 12-1, ladies and gentlemen. 12-1. But 6-1, it's, okay, it's half the goals. I get it, but... Wow. Is there any chance the Toronto, the city of Toronto can get another hockey team? I mean, not just because, we need more torture, but it's just something else. I mean, New York has like 2 of every team, right? Like, why can't Toronto? I mean, Toronto, I'd like to say it's a hockey town, but I'm telling you, a lot of times when, when you have an organization that's worth over $1 billion, you'd like to think that, we'll get we would have had a championship by now, right? I mean, the Raptors got one, 2019, the Jays, okay, haven't had one since 92, 93, and, some ups and downs, smiles and frowns, and I don't know. I'm not that big on baseball. I'll always root for the Jays, but the Argos. I mean, let's be honest. The heart of the Argos was when we won in the '90s there with John Candy, rest in peace, and Wayne Gretzky were part owners, and it is what it is, and. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'm tripping here, but they just showed. I could have sworn they just showed Popeye Jones. Is he related to Seth? Is that his son, Seth Jones, or no? I don't want to hear shit about. I'm just watching this. Like, I saw a quick little thing here. I was too busy crying. But is that is that his dad, or because Popeye Jones played for the Toronto Raptors? He's a cool dude, but. That again, more irony, ladies and gentlemen. And let's talk about the Florida again with the ultimate irony. I believe their ex-coach or their coach was our coach. I believe Brad Dickhead March. I don't give a fuck how you say his name. He's Canadian. I always wanted to play for the Leafs. Now I'm fucking Lex Luthor. Okay, Yeah, there it is, right there. We have to face another Kachuk. Oh, that's always great. I love you guys' father, Keith Kachuk. He's fucking awesome, man. But I'm just saying, not now. It's what are you gonna do? 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 We got the Oilers. You know, if you're Canadian, we got the Winnipeg still has a chance. You know, that could happen. You never know. Is it just weird to seem like a fucking eternity, like till this game ends? I don't know. It's like how much time left? 8:40. Holy shit.
And Matthews stopped up by Ekblad just inside the line. Ekblad, a free agent at the end of the year. At the end of this season, we up to July 1st. And the full season so far has enhanced his value. Matthews ready to work. Bouncing it in wide of the net. In behind is Pacioretty, looking to center. And bounced off Tavares. Here's Tanev. Hands it off Tavares. With a move on Schmidt. Knocked off his stick. McKeever out of Pacioretty. In behind the net. Vilsack checks him. Tavares gets it back. Knocked down by Schmidt. Tavares, another whose contract will expire.
Listen, gentlemen, you are as bored as I am. I mean, holy shit. My God. This is not the hockey I remember growing up with. I saw a thing, recently on YouTube about Wendell Clark, and, he's my favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time. And, I mean, the guy was so good, so beloved in this city that he played for us not once, not twice, but 3 times. It was just meant for him to be here. You know what I mean? And you see the way he fought through injuries and for his team, and the beautiful handlebar mustache. I mean, my God, that's I don't know. Like, in many ways, he was the Canadian Tom Selleck. But the point is, who's a player in the Leafs now that you can say is like remotely close to Wendell Clark, that has that kind of heart for the team, that kind of toughness? I mean, is there anyone? I mean, like when you see him wear the C, you know it's deserved. And again, I don't mean to constantly shit on Matthews. I don't want to be one of those guys, but like, is Matthews a captain really? I mean, and on top of that, like is Marner an assistant captain really? I don't know. Like Matthew, or sorry, Marner. One of those guys beginning with M. Marner. You ever watch like a TV show or a movie and you see like a bully, and then you see like people behind the bully, and like they're not like tough at all, or just like they're basically just pussies. And I don't know, that reminds me of Marner. It just does. Like, I mean, I go back to when Ottawa scored that goal in the empty netter. He slapped it in, and Riley was the only one that gave a shit. And I don't know, it was whatever. He got 1 game to suspension. I don't know. He should have got a fucking raise. But if you watch that clip, like, Marner's the only one like, what am I gonna do now? Like, fuck, man. Well, who's close to Clark, man? Like, nobody. Fucking nobody, man. It's not even fucking close. Nobody. And I love Doug Gilmour too, man. I mean, that's a cool motherfucker right there, man. I mean, Dougie, like what? Like, who comes close to Dougie? Nobody. Teach him how to Dougie. Teach him how to Dougie. Shit's not happening. You can't like teach, the fucking millennials, Gen Z this. I mean, fuck. Yeah, let's go back to the game. 5 minutes.
5-1 Florida. The defending champions. Getting set for another trip to the Eastern Conference Final. Matthews stopped by Bobrovsky.
You think of the efforts the last 2 years to follow up the Stanley Cup final loss, to get there again and win it in Game 7 overtime. This team doesn't look like it's lost its steam or desire.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about betting for a second. I know I said, this is how much of a fucking idiot I am. Okay, I said to myself, and I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't bullshit on this podcast. Okay, I got nothing to gain. I don't make any money from this. It's it is what it is. Okay, if they played in Florida, I would have for sure bet Florida. Okay, I would have hoped for the Leafs to win, but and then I decided to bet Toronto. I only bet like $20 on Pro Line. I lost anyway. I bet 2 baseball games. One of them already lost in the afternoon. Okay, it is what it is, you know. But that's what I get. I think that's part of the punishment as a Leaf fan. You have to keep getting punished, you know. Oh, there's a commercial for Rogers Cable. I still think their symbol looks like an asshole because, you know, that's what you feel like paying their prices. If you're being on hold with Rogers, holy shit, you better take a day off. The point is, they, you know, you can say what you want about Godfather 3, ladies and gentlemen, but, you know, just when I think I was out, they pull me back in, you know, and it's just, I had a decent, good feeling. You notice how I started off with decent instead of good first, but, you know, they're playing at home. I mean, what if this is all like, hear me out. I thought about this a little while ago, but hear me out. What if the Leafs are just losing on purpose? Think about it. Okay, so we're a $1 billion franchise, right? Okay, so there's not an empty seat in the house. I mean, like, you know, you could have said that, like, you know, a couple periods ago. But, you know, but before that, okay, there was, you know, it was a full house. Okay? We all know what happens Game 7. Okay? Either way, they're going to get their money. Like, they know, like, we're fucking suckers. And I've said this before many times. If you want to teach the Toronto Maple Leafs, the organization, like a real lesson, even if you're a true Leaf fan, stop going to games. Literally, just stop going to games. I don't give a shit if it's the opener, the playoffs, Game 7, especially Game 7. Stop going to games. Okay? It's like, you know, someone wants to get off drugs and you're giving them money. You're giving them drugs. You're, you know, whatever. You're, you know, you're, I don't know, you're going down to, you know, fucking, fuck, anywhere in Toronto. Who knows? The point is, I mean, I was going to say a specific place. You know, the Tim Hortons that's, you know, it's close to Wellesley Station there. Yeah, yeah. Hang out there on a hot summer day. Yeah, you'll have fun. The point is, it's like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, why are we supporting this franchise? Think about that. Watch the game for a bit and really think about that. Why are we supporting this franchise financially? Why?
That's a hit for Pacioretty. Very good effort.
I just want to point out that there's about 3 minutes left. Leafs have an empty net. I'm sure it'll make a difference. And it's in. Okay, perfect.
His 150th point and another goal in Game 7 by East Toronto.
6 for Florida, 1 for Toronto. Now, listen, the last time I had deja vu like this, it was, you know, 1993. I was watching a baseball game. The Blue Jays were playing. Just, you know, just a thought. It's good old, you know who scored. Come on. Yes, I didn't have to say his fucking name. Jesus.
Away, and after a disappointing Game 5, the response in Game 6, but a Game 7 that you can see the reaction of every single player on their face.
Marshall, a 3-point night, 12 points in the postseason, 10 times. He's hit double.
I'd just like to point out that if anybody ever needs some Leaf cards or anything Leafs, somebody tells me I'm going to have a big garage sale this summer.
The Leaf killer. Yeah, different players, same result. As you said, the first player in NHL history to beat the same team 5 times.
You know, they're just showing Malaka there. I'm almost positive you can fit every single one of the Toronto Maple Leafs souls in those nostrils. I mean, it is just phenomenal. Okay, there's 233 left. I'm sure. Yeah, listen, can the Leafs come back? I mean, that's
It'll be very interesting. Be patient, boy, Roy Demmer. You know that with this result again, it doesn't matter how you get there necessarily. It's the end result at the end of the day. And
I'd just like to point out that, you know, when you play the playoffs, you tend not to shave. I shaved a few days ago. Clearly, it didn't make a fucking difference. They're showing Marner here. I believe with that peach fuzz, he hasn't shaved for probably 3 years. That says it all.
challenging series.
Face off strong, Marchand on it again. Hand on that. Ricochets in front, and Arena tied up with McKee as the puck slides into the lead goal crease.
You know, he had a saying always, there's winning and there's misery. There really isn't any other. You know, you put so much of your energy in.
I felt misery in 1993. This is, I mean, not when I was watching the Jays, of course, but, you know, for, you know, other reasons, you know, the reffing. But the point is, yeah, no, we're way beyond misery. And
We're here tonight, the fans, but I think what frustrates the most is there were so many signs that it was going to be different this year. We seem to.
if I had $1 for every time fucking someone said that, how many dollars will we have since '67? Let's do some adding here. Hold on. This is how I add, ladies and gentlemen. So 1970 to 20. Okay, so that's 50. Yeah, 50. So 55. Okay, so 55, 58. So I would have $58. $58. That's 3 from the number I'm seeing here, 61. But yeah, this is just wow, holy. And the goalie here, I can't pronounce his name. Yeah, he's got a Panther that's blue in front. Again, he probably did that on purpose just to fuck with us. It worked, man.
We'll be sitting waiting to get started.
Benoit tries to center it. Walking after the gate pennant. Pinkola turns it up ice. Aaron Brook back to get possession for the Leafs.
And of course, you know, more booze coming. I've never seen so many empty seats in the front there. Well, except when I see them come back from, you know, second intermission, third intermission, which apparently I heard some guy made a book about it. I think my dad told me something about, like, you know, the first few rows being empty because it's like business class. And again, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not trying to be that person, but it does look bad. I mean, it kind of shows like what, you know, we expect from the Leafs. But anyway, what is it, 103, 102, 101. Let's enjoy this last shitty minute.
And over 90 shot attempts in the game for Florida in this game. Bobby McMahon with a hit done Kulikov. But this side belongs.
$5,000 to $10,000. I'm assuming to sit in front to watch this shit. I'm sorry. 20 seconds left.
3 in the second. Max Domi early in the third. Looks like the Leafs might be trying to have a comeback, but 3 more.
Sorry, when Marner scores, it basically costs the Leafs a little over $400,000. 5 seconds left.
Stanley Cup champions move on to the Eastern Conference Final, and the song remains the same here in Toronto. Dominating performance by the defending Stanley Cup champions led by Bob Reese, who doesn't like to go into the players line up, handshakes. He'll shake hands with Greg Berube and staff.
Well, two head coaches who have won these Game 7s to win a Stanley Cup. Paul Maurice last year, of course, against the Edmonton Oilers. Craig Berube in 19 against the Boston Bruins. But it's Maurice that goes to 6-0 now for his Game 7 record.
Do you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? 6-0 for Maurice, the coach for our ex-coach, obviously. From the Toronto Maple Leafs, clearly. Which again proves that whenever you leave the Leafs, things just get better.
All gone now here in Toronto. The more things change, the more they have stayed the same.
You know, even though it's not a first round handshake, it still doesn't feel any better. It's Maple Leaf team has said got to 7 wins. That's the most this group has done. But the end result and being on the wrong end is a tough one. Interesting. Anthony Stolarz getting a couple of good reacquaintance with some old teammates.
I love what's, they're showing Stolarz just shaking hands. He's like, why did I leave? Why did I leave?
Right, 7 wins. That's more than nose. Having won the cup, they're only halfway there.
It's an amazing journey, isn't it? All the work you do, and it's disappointing when you're knocked out now. Same kind of intensity for Florida. You finally get through this second round, and now 2 days later.
Does anybody else find it ironic that they advertise Oreo on the Toronto Maple Leafs helmets? And like you can't eat just one Oreo. You basically, eat the whole box, and the next day, your shit just, looks like, like a bottomless black hole. But like after you finish the whole box, like you basically feel like the Leafs, like after every Game 7, right? I mean, there's, I don't know. It sounded funnier in my head, but the point is, my God, like, look at this. Look at
expectations so much higher.
So we went from booze to cheering. Okay, that's see again. This is where I love my Canadians. Don't get me wrong, but
here's Ron McLean.
First, Craig, thank you.
I fuck Ron McLean. You could have saved Don Cherry's job, and look. This is where we're too nice, you know what I mean? Like it's just like we really think about that. We just went from booing a few minutes ago to cheering, and they show the people in the front of the screen there outside, and holy shit, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. This has been another thrilling year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. What can I say at this point that hasn't already been said? It's tough being a Leaf fan, but at some point you just got to laugh your ass off. It is what it is. But I will say this. I thought of the perfect analogy for being a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. So if you ever see the movie, the original Batman, which I believe Michael Keaton is the best Batman. I know a lot of Christian Bale, lovers out there. I know he was great too, but still to me, it's Michael Keaton all the way. But the scene where Jack Nicholson, playing the Joker, obviously a great version of the Joker. I mean, it's up for debate who's the great Joker. I did a whole podcast about that. Shut up. We're not here to talk about that. Okay, we're here to talk about the Leafs being a joke. So, he falls in the acid, whatever, and then he goes to that doctor. I don't know I don't know. Like I'm assuming somewhere in Mexico, and he's getting all bandaged up, whatever, the shit's coming off, and he's like, the mirror. And he hands him the mirror, and he looks at his face, and we don't know what he looks like yet, but he looks at himself, Oh, jeez, what a day. But that's what you feel like when you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, because it's like you should be mad, but at this point, like, I mean, with me anyway, I'm just laughing my ass off. So I'd like to say I'm disappointed. I'm not. Okay, I lost $20, you know. I know, you know, like, it's in today's tariffs, you know, that's like maybe, you know, like one bag of chips, but still, like, like, it is what it is, man. What can I say? So, again, what are you gonna do? Okay. I mean, it literally, look at poor Brendan Shanahan, one of my faves of all time. I mean, this poor guy. I mean, you know, I don't know. He still wishes he was on fucking, you know, Detroit in '96, but I think it was 96, 97, something like that. I don't know. I'm you know, excuse my ignorance. I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Okay, so, you know, me personally, I'm not disappointed, because, you know, to be disappointed in something, you have to, you know, expect something good. I didn't expect anything good. If it happened, cool. If not, then whatever, you know. There's always next year to fuck up again, and yeah, you know, chances are we'll fuck up again in Game 7, and you know, next year I'm, you know, they pulled me back in, and I'm gonna bet the opposite team. You know, it is what it is. You know, I'd like to say I'm not gonna fall for this shit again, but you know, I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, so it is what it is. But oh, holy fuck, we suck. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another disappointing, but not so disappointing. And they're going to interview Big Nose. Okay, that's where I officially turn this shit off. Holy cow. Oh, fuck. I can't believe he's Canadian. Holy shit. Fuck. See you in September. See you when the summer's through. The Leafs still suck. They suck. They suck. All year long, Marner is gone. Leafs are the worst. Worse than San Jose. From the East Coast to the West. Leafs are the worst. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another thrilling episode of the Malaka podcast. 1967. Part 9.
You understand that the nerves were completely severed, Mr. Napier. You see what I have for work?